Hi, beautiful souls. It's Sadhana. Welcome to my channel. And today I have a very special video for you. I have received the Lili Black Tarot. As you know, if you've been following me, I have done and included several videos with Célia Melesville's Lili White Tarot. And now I have this other gorgeous deck in my collection. So I thought today I would go through the decks side by side and just do kind of a fun video. I will pull my favorite card from each deck and then combine them to make a combined deck. And then I thought at the end we could do a reading from that combined deck. I have worked with the Lili White for some time, so I'm quite familiar with it. And the reason I purchased the Lili Black was because I was looking for a deck with darker colors to pair with some of the darker oracle decks like the Flowers of the Night, for example. And so I'm just really excited to start working with this. And I have looked through the deck briefly, but not in tremendous detail, nor have I done any readings with it. So let's go ahead and start this journey with the Fool. And I have to say the Lili Black Fool is absolutely gorgeous. The energy that is coming forth from all of this green here is just amazing. And one of the things that really speaks to me is this new growth that's happening down here in the roots of the trees. And there's this kind of amazing connection here. So what is this saying if you pull a Fool card is that this adventure, this new beginning that is coming forth, this flourishment, if you want, if you will, it has a strong foundation, and this tree is leaning out right over the edge of the cliff, and it is strong, and it has lots of new life, and so that's pretty brilliant. And also, it kind of appeals to me to be starting this adventure in the dark. There's something about that. There's something about trust and just going for it. And I really, really like this. So this is going to be my first black card in our combined deck. So we have the Fool. And then we go to the Magician, which is a pretty special card in this deck, I have to say. I love the Lili White Magician. And just glancing at this one, it just looks a little too dim to me. I love that we can see this brilliant energy here between the hands, and I feel this energy on different occasions when I'm doing Reiki, of course, but also when I'm working with cards, and just sometimes it's there, even during a yoga class. I also like that these tattoos are visible here, and everything is kind of very muted in the dark cards. So I'm going to take the Lili White Magician, and then we go to the High Priestess, Persephone. Symbolism here, we have this moon energy up here, this light reflection from the moon. But it's kind of cool on the Lili Black that we have this energy coming down or up through the High Priestess's crown chakra. So that's kind of different on the dark card. Also, of course, the moon looks a little bit different. And I didn't notice until I was preparing for this video that we have all this juice from the pomegranate all over her hands. That might be something, if you're dealing with the symbolism of the Persephone story or the energy of the pomegranate, that you might want to bring into a reading. And in the Lili Black, her hair actually looks like a veil. It looks like there is, more of it, and it's kind of mimicking the veil that's usually behind the High Priestess. So yeah, so pretty cool. It also kind of looks like she's holding a crystal ball with the pomegranate. All kinds of beautiful imagery. I'm going to go with the Lili White for this combined deck. And then we go to the Empress, who is absolutely gorgeous. There's a few cards that are very similar in that regard. The World card and the Temperance card, they all have this beautiful floral energy, and it really is a personal preference. When I purchased this deck, the idea was that we had a night scene, and I was not really thinking that I would be using this deck to bring in more of a well-rounded cultural aspects, so we weren't all dealing with white people. But some of the cards you could actually you can't differentiate whether they are white or black, regardless of whether the skin tone looks dark here. So that's an option as well too with the Lili Black that I really hadn't considered. Love the colors of the floral of the flowers here. I actually like the colors of the flowers on the Lili Black, but I like the lightness here. So I'm going to go with this one. And then the Emperor, and it's really nice that she has them facing each other. Always an important feature in a deck for me. The Emperor in the dark deck is kind of cool. I like that his crown is a little more illuminated, and we can see that energy coming off the crown here. I know you can see this kind of fiery energy here in the Lili White as well too, but there's something about the fire here with the dark background that really kind of gives you that feeling of Emperor energy. So that's cool. And I also like the top of his, whether it's his scepter or it's his sword here. That's really, I love how that is illustrated. Anyway, I'm going to go with the Lili Black because of the energy of the fire that's shown with the dark card. The Hierophant is really cool because it doesn't reveal a lot, and I like that. This is very clean. So the, excuse me, I'm just going to have a cup of tea. The black one, the Lili White one, reminds me very much of the, so the suit of swords, suit of air in this deck has that same kind of energy, color, the way we've kind of got the ether, the way the wash is done with the watercolor. Yeah, it's really nice that not too much is shown there. And then we have the Lover's card, so this kind of entwined energy. You can see more of the kind of the energy of the tree in the dark one, which is really neat. And then this light that's kind of coming through the trees up here looks more like lunar energy in the dark card. And there's sort of a moodiness here that doesn't really happen over here. So I don't know, it's kind of a even Steven for me on that one. And then we go to the Emperor, sorry, not the Emperor, the Chariot, which is a really cool card. Any chariot that is actually holding the reins is kind of, for me, is unfortunate. I really like it when the chariot driver is not actually touching the reins, because that really shows the sense of trust, the more divine energy that is present in the card. Love the way the horses are drawn, the fluidity, the motion. Yeah, everything I would like in a chariot card is represented in this card. And you'll see that in a lot of the darker cards, the energy is very flowing. You can see it swirling in the background, as opposed to the light cards where it's more of a splotchy energy. But again, I prefer the Lili White. In the Justice card, it looks to me, recently I noticed this, that the scales look like tears, or they're positioned where they would be tears. And I'm really interested to hear from you what you think about that. What kind of metaphor could you draw from the scales being tears? And I have a couple ideas myself, but I'd really like to hear from you on that. We have the elements represented here. We have the moon cycles, and then we have this kind of solar energy. So we see the balance represented in different ways. Again, we have that. This is very much in the suit of swords, the way that this is illustrated. And again, I prefer the Lili White. Favorite Hermit card. Oh my goodness. I think Célia nailed it on this card. It is just such a beautiful depiction of the hermit, the woman who is sitting in the, to me it looks like a uterus, the womb, in the womb of the tree, taking time to heal and nourish and turn within. It's just gorgeous. And yeah, I prefer the Lili White. Here we move to the 10. This wheel is just so stunning, the way the seasons are kind of intermingled on this wreath, and the way she's incorporated the moon cycles, the sun cycles, and the web was just brilliant. The web was a little more visible on this card, but I love the colors of the Lily White. And then we go to Strength, number 11. And notice we had 8 for Justice and 11 for Strength. There's quite a few Marseille features in this deck, and I'll talk to that when we get to the pips. Something is different about these two cards, not only in the light and the dark, but also aspects of the drawing. So for example, on the hat, there's a bigger space here than there is here. This has been filled in. And there's something different in the lion and the way the whole picture is positioned, and it looks like a completely different drawing to me. This is not, the same picture. It looks like she had to redo the second one. I haven't heard her speak to the creation of this deck. This deck looks a little more, sorry, not this deck, this lion looks a little more mature. This one looks a little bit younger. So I'm quite certain this is a different picture. And also if you look here to her bag or her purse, different pattern. Her bangles are also different. Yeah. Anyway, that's not what we're doing today. I'm going to go again. Lily White. Hanged Man. This is a pretty cool hanged man. I'm in the Lily Black. There's something I really like here. I love how the energy around his ears looks like it's bursting out of his ears, as opposed to this one, which there still is energy around the head, but this one is like really like obvious. And I feel like when I'm doing energy work with people that there's a lot of energy that does get released through this part of the body. And I don't know, that just really speaks to me. Love the color of the jeans in this one too. Yeah, so there's something kind of magical about this one. So I'm going to take the Black Hanged Man, and then we go to the Death card. There's a lot to be said about this Death card, but in choosing my favorite one, I'm probably going to go with the more colorful one, because there's an opportunity when you're reading to bring in the energy of these colors with the card that's near it, things like that. But if you are looking for something really specific here, and this will go beautiful with the Night Oracle deck that I was talking about, this flower here that is emerging from the skull, from the animal skull, this looks like breath to me. This looks like prana. It's really very, very divine. Looks like divine energy, as opposed to this card, which you see more of it looks like more like watercolors. It's a completely different kind of feeling to the card. But I don't know. It's very hard to pick one. But again, I think I'm going to stay with the white as my favorite, just because I feel like it's a more versatile card. And this is what I was talking about earlier. So this looks a bit like the Empress, the Temperance card. So beautiful. And she is graceful and content and fluid in the solar energy, as fluid in the solar energy as she is in the lunar energy. And this is just one of the most beautiful Temperance cards I've ever seen. Yeah. But again, Lily White, you seem to have my heart here. Devil. So this card speaks a little bit, and I brought some other cards over here to share with you, because I think it's kind of important to understand, I think, where Célia was going with this. So we have the symbol here for Earth. So there is this connection to Earth, and very much to Cronus, and see how the branches are coming out of his head here. It looks like there's also a branch here. I'm not sure what this is. It might just be part of his body. In the guidebook, she talks about him whispering into her ear, encouraging her to let go. And the aspect of this is a very kind of positive energy so that we learn to embrace our passion. And Celia talks in the guidebook about embracing passion so that we can enhance and move forward our creativity and our passion projects. And when I was looking at all this and thinking about this, I wanted to just pull out a few other cards, right? So here we have the Llewellyn Devil, and here is the I'm drawing a blank here. The Druid Tarot. So we have Cernunnos here with the two lovers down here. And then we have Shadow Dance in the Tarot of the Hidden Realm. And we have that same kind of energy where the devil is in the, not the devil, the Cernunnos or this fairy here is in the background. And what is coming forth is the passion and the honesty and the love and the need to be in this moment. And whether this moment is a sexual passion or the passion that is going to create something with your business or, could be with anything, these kind of energies need to flow through you and not be suppressed. And I think what happens is with the whole idea with addiction and the devil card is that we suppress a lot of these feelings through our addictions, right? So shopping suppresses or covers up something that we're not allowing to come through, or alcohol, or oversleeping, or whatever your addiction is. But I just wanted to kind of say something about that because I think it's important. And of course, we can go to the shadow side very much, and this card could easily represent, an unhealthy relationship. He's holding her very lovingly, but we can definitely go the other way as well too. So again, I get a lot more from the Lily White. And then we go to the Tower, which is a really interesting and unusual depiction of the Tower. And from reading the guidebook and my limited French, I did not see this the first time or for ages while I was looking at this card, but it looks to me, and from what I read, the lightning has severed the horns, the antlers, from the animal. So the animal is sitting here bare, raw, and vulnerable. And this is quite a large beast. And so now the beast needs to go forth and grow and trust that new antlers will grow. They will grow in a different way. They won't be exactly the same. But these antlers need to be left, and perhaps there was some identification, to the antlers. The antlers were part of how this beast was able to carry himself, how he felt, how he was with the rest of the pack. And so now with them being severed, he has to go forth in a new way. And I think that's a really cool depiction of the Tower card. Just kind of really getting us back to the bare bones. Yeah, and you know what? I think I'm going to choose the black one just for that sense of vulnerability. But they're both amazing. No, you know what? I'm going to stay with white. Okay, next card is the Star. And again, I'm going to go Lily White. It's just really, really colorful. And then the Moon. So what can I say about the Moon? It's quite an interesting card. I like that this is not a mirror image. There's something completely different going on below the surface. There is something completely different going on below the surface. And I think that is an important statement. Sometimes we just aren't willing to go there. And takes a little more energy than looking into the mirror. And here, we're not going to get a clear reflection because the water is rippled, right? Yeah, we're at a different moon cycle. The moon cycles are here, so we need to respect that we're all going through these processes of change. And are we brave enough, perhaps, to take off this mask and to look and see what's beneath the water? I love how the moonlight has illuminated these plants here. That's really cool. Yeah, I'm going to choose Lily White. And same for the sun. The sun is just beautiful. I love the Lili Black cards, and they are going to look amazing with these other decks, but I'm choosing my favorites, so I'm going to go with that one. Sun card is pretty self-explanatory. I love how the dandelion spores show up there in the sun, in the dark card. And then let's go. Ooh, okay, so this one I'm probably going to go Lili Black, and I'll tell you why. The way this is drawn. So this to me looks like a chalice, perhaps a lotus, and this kind of amplifies the energy of the transformational message that I'm getting here. We also have the rainbow here. It's really cool. The colors, this is hugely transformational, and I like that it's in the dark, and transformations often happen in the dark. So I'm going to go there, and then the last major is the World, which, like I said, kind of reminds me a little bit of the energy of the Empress and Temperance. I think we can see the fingers, the hands, a little bit better in the dark card. And again, we have little tiny tattoos on the fingers. And the flowers look to me a little bit different. So again, this may have been drawn at a different time. It might be a completely different card. And I actually didn't consider that. I thought perhaps there was some kind of a process where the cards could both be partially drawn and then reprinted, but it looks like she's actually redrawn, and these are two different pieces of art. This one looks like more like the energy of the Fool card. Love how this tree is just kind of going, I don't know, it's really very, very special, both of these. Yeah, maybe I'll go with the dark card here. I feel like I can see a few more things. Oh, I don't know. It's so difficult. How do you choose? No, I'm going to stay with Lili White. Okay, so now we're going to go to the minors. And the minors are very Marseille-esque. And I know one of the words that is in vogue right now is non-illustrated pips, but these are definitely illustrated pips. So, sorry, the camera cut off there. What I was saying is these are fully illustrated pips, and you will see energy and style reminiscent of a Marseille deck. She does speak to numerology in her guidebook, Célia does, so that is a really nice reference to have. And also, we do have some references to Rider-Waite-Smith as well, too. So there's a really lovely combination between the two systems in this deck, and I think that gives you freedom as to which way you're going to use or combine your readings. And probably I'm 90% sure that I'm going to go with Lili White for the Pentacles, because I really love the Pentacles in this deck. So yeah, so very quickly. Oh, these ones are upside down. These ones are upside down. But I wanted you to see them side by side. But I think I'm probably going to go with the white ones, putting together my favorite deck. So it's going to be a Lili White deck with a few Lili Blacks, and looking how it's going to go. So there we have the two. Never say never. I might pull a black for one of them. 3. 4. 5. The 5 and the black is kind of cool. You really get that cold, wintry scene. Maybe I'll take the 5 from the black. Or maybe I could take the 5 from all the suits. We'll see. See how that goes. 6. So we have the scales as a tattoo. Here's another example where you get a completely different effect of the energy. So look at the energy coming up from this plant. I just feel this is such a dynamic 7. When the 7s are more of an internal energy, one of reflection and contemplation. And this looks a little bit like the 2 of Swords, right? The way this is crossed here. Time to stop, consider. But also we've got these dandelion spores again, which to me really represent possibilities, hope, and potential. I love this image of the bee. I have gotten so many different messages from the 8. This has been quite an important card in client readings. And then the 9. So we have the peregrine falcon, and you'll notice he's not hooded in this deck, and often in Rider-Waite-Smith deck the falcon is hooded. And the flowers are many different colors in the Lili Black and similar colors in the Lili White. So you really do with the Lili Black get this emergence of energy in the darkness, as opposed to the more watery color energy. So it's quite a different energy with the 2 decks, I think. And this brilliant, brilliant 10, which mirrors the 1, where we just had the 1 pentacle in the earth. And then our first quartz. So in the quartz, in the Lili White and the Lili Black, sorry, I'm just putting these together so we can do our reading at the end. All of the pages have a heart up here. So the intention is to really look to the heart chakra, to the and also to the sense of innocence and playfulness and naivety and the willingness to be open, right? To be open and to be vulnerable. And then we have the earth symbol here and 1 flower because this is the page. And then for the knight, we'll have 2 flowers. The knights are a torso, and because we are in the suit of earth, we have a feminine torso. And this is really about the quest. And she writes a beautiful, beautiful description referring to the Manipura chakra, so the solar plexus chakra for the knights. So keeping that energy in with each of them. And then we have the queen. So we have 3 flowers for the queen, and we have the queen crown. And then for the king, there's 4 flowers. Okay. And then going to the suit of swords. I put these in the order, and I know it's kind of a funny order for suits. I put it in the order that the little cheat sheet has them listed, the little guidebook that comes with it. I also have the French guidebook, which I've shown before in other videos, and it really is it's a really worthwhile having that in your collection if you have both the decks. And you can use, Google Translate or something if you don't read the French, because there's no English in that guidebook. So the energy of this suit has a beautiful combination of both ether and air. And we have the eagle as the mask, as the animal. So we had the serpent, the snake in the earth, and now we have the eagle. And in this one, the eagle is hooded, which makes sense. So we have kind of a Rider-Waite Smith reference there. And then the Three of Hearts. So the incense is it's like we had the flowers and the pentacles, now we have the incense sticks. And so we have the smoke. So the energy of the ether through the smoke and the air from represented by the eagle. And for me, that works really, really well, because when we're looking to the mind, when we're looking to it's a really strange combination for me to use tarot with all the chakra references and everything, because the energy of the heart is the element of air, the energy of the throat is the element of ether. And to have a swords deck that combines ether and air is works a lot better for me, because I use a lot of yogic references when I'm doing my readings. And then here we have the Four. So the hood is off, the eagle is resting, and you can really see the energy of the smoke there. And smoke, of course, connects us to the divine. And here we have, ooh, this is interesting. Okay, I am going to take the black. I think I am going to do that, take the black fives. There's something here that is really cool. So in this puddle, you can see the reflection. It's quite different and it's larger. So these were drawn for sure, completely, maybe side by side or separately at different times, but they are different. Subtle differences. This decoration here on the hilt is different. Okay, so there we go. Lili Black is getting in there. And oh, this is so cool. I love that she did that doorway in green. So what does green represent for you? It's kind of this magical energy on the other side of that door. That's really cool. I'm going to take this one. I like that. I've spoken about this card a few times, Seven of Swords, where the eagle is flying towards the possibly the lunar eclipse or some kind of a special lunar energy here. The eagle has dropped one, and I think that's a really important to bring that into the conversation with whatever's going on in the reading. The eagle is not swooping back to go get it, but the eagle is clinging to these six swords and has taken them away. But it was too much to carry all seven. So I think these little tiny, I'm going to take this one, these little tiny observations are really, really important. And then we have the 8. And the 9. So the swords are all in above, floating above the head. And if you look closely, you can see each of them has a different hilt. There may be something there for you to interpret. And I think I'm going to take the dark card just because referring to, you know, the nightmare card, the sense of illusion. And then we go to the 10. I think this is a really great 10 of Swords. Love that sword. Oh, look. I thought it was going through, piercing through the crown chakra of the skull. But you can see here, it isn't. It's gone through the side. But there is another sword here at the back that may have gone through the crown. I just think all these little details are really, really important. We also have lightning here, which you cannot see in the Lili White. So that adds another layer, I think, to have the lightning in the background here. Again, I'm going to go with Lili Black. All right, and then we have our second set of quartz. And again, the heart for the page. Whoa, this is really beautiful. And the pages are meant to be asexual, not androgynous, asexual. So, yeah, mouth closed, mouth open. And 1 incense stick for the page, 2 for the knight, 3 for the queen, and 4 for the king. I kind of see the innocence a little more in the light one. And then we have a masculine suit, so we have a masculine torso for the knight. And again, solar plexus energy is the intention to, to bring into the reading for that, if that makes sense for you. And then we have this beautiful queen. I just love her feather crown. And the king. So he has the 4 incense sticks. And also he has the feathers. And something else going on here. He must have either have a lot of hair, or this is another type of feather in the upper part of his headdress. All right, and then the cups. Let me just adjust this for you. It's a beautiful Ace of Cups. You really get that flowing, my cup runneth over kind of energy with this one. Okay, and 2. Love the color on these cups. I like that she chose to do them in a natural color. Sorry, gulping my cold tea. All right, 3. I'm so happy I got this other deck. Each will have its place, right? And I probably won't keep the cards combined as a deck, just for fun today for a reading. But wow, this is amazing. Look at the light here. So the moon is reflecting into the water, and I think that really adds a level to this card. This too shall pass. Whatever this 4 of Cups energy is. And look, with all this growth that is happening, are you appreciating, what you already have? Whoa, that 4 is beautiful in the black. Okay, so then we have the 5. So I said I was going to pick the 5 black, but let's have a look. I really do like this 5 of Cups. I'm going to have to break the pattern. This one really speaks to me, and I like that you can see the growth that is happening here. Beautiful color in the water from the night sky. Okay, and 6 for sure. I know I'm going to take Lili White. Love the nesting cups and all that's happening in the center. And I'm surprised she doesn't have, this one doesn't have that radiating energy. It's very soft, very, very subtle. All right, and then the 7. Eight of Cups. This card I would really like to, I find this card confusing. So this is the Nine of Cups, and I don't know whether it's the flame in the middle, but sometimes it confuses me what card this is because of the heat that is represented here. And it looks to me like 9 candles as opposed to 9 cups. Yeah. I will have to reread her intention in the guidebook, but it is, I think, a very straight up kind of Rider-Waite-Smith with a few Marseille comments in the guidebook. And then we have the 10 of Cups. Okay, so for the page, I'm going to stay with Lili White. So we have, it should be 1 fish, and then I was just looking to see what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess it's the element symbol. You know, in the other suits, how we had like 2 flowers, 2 incense sticks, and so forth. We have here 2 of the chalice symbols. I don't think we have 2 fish. This is a hand for sure. And then again, we have the feminine body because this is the suit of cups, the feminine torso. I should know that answer to that question because I've used this so many times. Okay, and then we have this queen. She's so soft and lovely. Yeah, and she has 3 of the symbols on her cup, and then the king has 4 on his cup. And then the final suit here, wands. Oops, let's go back. Kind of getting out of the viewfinder. Ace. Ooh, that 2 in the dark is really special, isn't it? Wow, pretty special. Okay, 3 of wands. So the animal for this suit is fox. A renard. This is one of my favorite cards. I love this one. Reminds me a little bit, well, of course, it reminds me of the 10, so the wheel, because we have that web, right? That web, that interconnection among all the 4 branches, showing not only the stability, but the, yeah, just the connections. They're both really beautiful. Okay, and then the 5. Which one will I choose? Have to go Lili White again. And if you would like me to talk about any more of these cards, some of them I've talked a lot about, but others not so much. So if you have comments or questions about any particular cards, let me know in the comments below, and I will answer you in the comment, or perhaps address it in a future video. I forget who it was. Somebody said to me with this card that they thought it's really important to remember, even though that this is a symbol of victory, of, you know, coming back from something to not necessarily reap your rewards, but it's important to remember that if you're coming back from victory, that there were others who lost something, and that this card requires some compassion and to watch the arrogance that sometimes comes from this kind of energy. And then we have the 7. Ooh, and you can see more of a rain here. I believe in the guidebook, Célia addresses the lightning, the fact that the lightning has different edges to it. So it has the potential, of course, to light all those sticks on fire. It kind of urges the fox to move forward. So it has that sense of quickness. But there is a lot of energy through that. This one looks more like a superhero. I kind of get that. I'm going to go with the dark one here just because I feel that is that shows some really amazing energy. Oh, that's a 9. Getting my piles mixed up here. Okay. So in the 10, the fox is kind of overwhelmed, at least that's the way it looks to me. And it looks a little bit like a 9 of Swords, the way that this is drawn. And so it also looks a little bit like an 8 of Swords, you know, that this burden, this all that we've carried, which may not even be ours, you know, could also be an illusion, which not usually is associated with the suit of wands. So this is probably one of the other cards that I'm not really a fan of. And then our final quartz, beautiful Page of Fire. Then we have the Cavalier. So we have 2 candles here. So now we have candles for the quartz. Isn't that silly of me to think that the artist could possibly have somehow partially drawn the pictures and then gone one direction and then the other? No, this is a huge labor of love. So 100 and wow, that's a lot of cards to draw, and then publish both decks at this. Publish both decks at the same time. Amazing. This king is really something, isn't he? The branches, his branch crown, and got the little fire symbol here, and he's got his 4 candles, and I love his hair and the expression on his face. So cool. So cool. All right. Well, I hope I got my piles straight. And what I'm going to do is just quickly count and make sure I have all of the cards here. But as you can tell, there's not going to be a lot of black cards, but I'm just going to shuffle. Sorry, I'm going to count, shuffle, and then we'll do a quick reading. All right. So I have backed the camera off a bit so we can do a 3 card. And I have 78 cards, and I have 11 from the Lili Black. And I just wanted to show you, I didn't show you the back, so the backs are exactly the same, Lili White, Lili Black. And there is, it might be just because they're new, there seems to be, oh, maybe it's my imagination. I guess it's the same cardstock. It would have to be. Same time, same publisher, same box. But these new cards feel really nice. Yeah. Okay, so let's do a 3 card reading. So what I'd like you to do is just to kind of close your eyes for a moment, take a breath, and bring something to mind. Okay. And when I do readings, the first card is always the most important. And we've got a court card, so that's always makes things a little more difficult. But one of the things that when I'm reading court cards, I find really important is to remember that this energy is being mirrored back to you. So regardless of whether this represents another person or an aspect of yourself, this energy is being mirrored back to you. So think of your question. And your answer is about nourishment to yourself, nourishment to your physical body, nourishment of your home and your hearth, and being kind to yourself, and everything that this queen is experienced and does so well, that energy is being reflected back to you at this time. So please, take that to heart. And that's kind of really important right now, regardless of the kind of question that you asked. Whether you are a man, whether you are a woman, whether you don't identify with any sex, it's important to really grasp that. So if you're not eating root vegetables, go eat some root vegetables, stuff like that. Like really, the energy of the earth, the energy of the body, the physical self, the earth, the material earth. She is so good at that. That is going to be really important to help you through this conflict that you are going through. You have chosen to enter into this conflict. It didn't come upon you. You entered into it by choice. And I think we need to remember that, right? We end up in these situations because that's the way that we steered our path. So the best way that you can kind of move through the energy of the Five of Wands is to really be looking after yourself. And of course, this will pass, but it's really important that while you are in the energy of the Five of Wands, that you look after yourself. And I'm going to kind of stick with the physical body energy. Okay, so I did shuffle really well. These two are stuck together, but for some reason they have needed to come up here, and that is bringing in the balance, right? The balance of the Queen and the King. In different ways, they both share the same kind of message and the same kind of energy, and he is looking in towards the reading, right? So this is really, really important, and you have all the skills that you need to get through this conflict at this time. But you're going to have to really focus on all of those earthy elements that you may or may not be entirely comfortable, with food, with lifestyle, that kind of thing. They are there for you for a reason. And we do have a black card, but it is two cards down. So I'll pull the next two cards and we'll just have a look and see if they kind of confirm or they bring anything else into this that will be helpful. So we have the Page of Cups. So a lot of court cards here, right? And kind of soft feminine energy. So depending on, how you usually deal with this kind of Five of Wands energy, it's really important that you embrace your softness and you allow yourself to move through whatever kind of healing energy you need to move through. And then, my friend, it will be time to move forward through that magical green door. How perfect is that? I'm so glad I picked this in the Lili Black. I just feel like does this remind you a little bit of Harry Potter? I think that was in where they went into the Ministry of Magic, and they went in, that's the scene just before I think Sirius is killed by Bellatrix Lestrange. Sorry, going off on my Harry Potter, but you know what that is? This is kind of a beautiful story, right? This is what you needed to be in this energy. And why you needed to be in this energy was so that you realized how important this was, right? This important kind of, and also maybe perhaps being with family. I'm kind of picking up on that as well too. And this feels very loving and very, very supportive. Right? So that is going to kind of give you the strength and the courage that you need, because we need courage to navigate the suit of swords. So I hope this reading has resonated with someone in internet land, in YouTube land, and thank you as always for being here. I look forward to reading your comments. Stay well, my friends. Namaste.